Welcome to the Control Bionics NeuroNode Trilogy overview and demonstration. Today I'd like to introduce you to the NeuroNode Trilogy, the NeuroNode 3.0, discuss placement options using EMG and spatial settings, give a brief introduction to communication software included in the Trilogy Grid 3, and its implementation and quick editing. These are our current regional sales consultants for the United States. I'm Lane Rials, and my territory includes Georgia, South Carolina, and North Florida. In 1989, Peter Ford identified that damaged muscles could still emit electrical signals. Between 1998 and 2000, Peter Ford and James Shorey joined forces to begin work on the NeuroSwitch EMG concept and hardware. In 2016, Control Bionics launched the revolutionary NeuroNode wireless communications technology. And in 2018, Control Bionics introduced the NeuroNode Trilogy, a 3-in-1 AAC solution for those living with paralysis and loss of speech by combining touch, eye gaze, and EMG plus spatial control in a wearable switch, the NeuroNode 3.0. Here's a graphic that shows our NeuroNode Trilogy and the NeuroNode 3.0. Features of the Trilogy include a Surface Pro tablet with a 12-inch screen. It's lightweight, weighing in just under 6 pounds. It uses the TM5 mini eye control camera for eye gaze control. The Trilogy has built-in communication software, with our standard software being Grid 3, but we have been able to work within other language systems that are compatible with the NeuroNode and Windows-based platform. Additionally, the Trilogy offers 3-in-1 access via touch, NeuroNode 3.0 control, and eye control. The NeuroNode Trilogy is a 3-in-1 solution combining touch, eye control, and the wearable EMG and 3D spatial technology, boasting faster speed and reducing fatigue in users. It offers flexible access options to accommodate user-specific needs. The NeuroNode itself offers a 24-hour continuous battery life with hassle-free charging. The NeuroNode connects to the Trilogy or our iOS system by Bluetooth 4.0 wireless connection. The wearability of the NeuroNode 3.0 in combination with eye gaze has been shown to lower user fatigue in operation and allows to adjust the sensitivity according to the individual user and fatigue levels. What can you do with the NeuroNode Trilogy? The NeuroNode allows alternative communication and control for clients to communicate with family, friends, caregivers, and clinicians, then receives text and email messages, browse the web, listen to music, read the news, use environmental control systems, and control external devices. In the NeuroNode kit, you will receive a battery charger with charger cable and wall port, the NeuroNode 3.0, the NeuroNode controller app, which is built into whichever system you choose, whether that be the iOS complete system or the NeuroNode Trilogy system, an electrode kit, the Neuro Band, which allows the NeuroNode to be a wearable solution without adhesive, and the lead wire adapter base. The lead wire adapter base connects to the NeuroNode. The 3 snap leads on the end of the lead wires attached to the electrodes on the user's skin. Typically, when you're using a more fine movement and most often in facial placement. The NeuroNode 3.0 and Trilogy are easy to set up for caregivers and clinicians. Again, the NeuroNode connects to the device by Bluetooth connection. It has a wide variety of placement options, whether that be the neuroband, electrodes. The NeuroNode gives visual feedback for caregivers and clinicians. The LED lights give information about what is happening with the NeuroNode. The eye control camera also has lights to indicate when the eye gaze is being utilized. It's easy to get started with your NeuroNode. First, you're just going to shake to wake it. Then you will connect via Bluetooth to your device through the NeuroNode controller application. Within the NeuroNode application, you have options to save your settings. You have options in regard to which specific scaling you will be using, static or dynamic scaling. Dynamic scaling allows and considers the user's fatigue throughout the day. And in the app, you can put the NeuroNode into standby to save the battery. This is a graphic of our NeuroNode 3.0. You'll notice the two dimples on top. Those indicate the active electrodes on the underside. Meet the NeuroNode 3.0. Here's the NeuroNode. It's a wearable, wireless EMG plus 3D spatial control device. This is the charging base with your plug for the charger. On the back of the NeuroNode, you'll see the 3 electrodes and the portion here where it meets up on the charger. In order to connect to charge, when the NeuroNode is charging, you will see a green and red light on the base and a green light on the NeuroNode, which indicates it is charging. This is our lead wire base adapter. The lead wires connect to the lead wire adapter base of the NeuroNode. The 3 snap leads on the other end of the lead wires attach to electrodes on the user's skin. This is the neuroband. The NeuroNode then clips into the bezel. To transform the NeuroNode into a wearable switch. These are our electrodes that clip onto the back of the NeuroNode in order to use EMG signals to activate a switch. The NeuroNode 3.0 boasts 24 active hour battery life. It's compact. You have increased placement options, whether adhesive or non-adhesive. You can use the NeuroNode in spatial or EMG settings. We also now have improved durability. And the NeuroNode connects either to our iOS or Trilogy system, which is a Windows-based system. On the NeuroNode, the LED indicator lights indicate a variety of information to the user. A green light indicates that an EMG or spatial signal was counted as a switch. A yellow light indicates a low battery. A solid yellow light means that it will no longer be usable until it is charged. The red light indicates that the NeuroNode is Bluetooth broadcasting. A solid blue light means that the NeuroNode is now in standby. The NeuroNode controller application allows the NeuroNode to connect either to the NeuroNode iOS Complete system or the NeuroNode Trilogy. You can use the application to set your settings for EMG mode or spatial mode, depending on the user. Additionally, within the controller app, you're able to put the NeuroNode into standby in order to preserve battery life when not in use. Here is a look at our NeuroNode application. This shows you all of the buttons at the bottom of the application and what they're used for. When you go into the settings of the graph, you'll see display settings. You can turn on your audio signal, which will then give the user auditory feedback that they are in fact activating the switch. You can set up to ignore switch repeats. You can also, with the static scaling, set the point of rest and the point of switch activation. Just below the static scaling, you'll see the dynamic scaling. This particular scaling will follow the user throughout the day and accounts for fatigue during the day. So you find your threshold, amplitude, and then your signal off or rest, and your window timing.
Now I'd like to show you how to wake your NeuroNode and get it connected to the NeuroNode controller application on the Trilogy. The first thing we're going to do is shake to wake. You'll see it goes through a series of colors. Flashing red indicates that the Bluetooth is broadcasting. The NeuroNode is connected to the Trilogy through Bluetooth connection. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and put those electrodes snapped on the back because we will be using the NeuroNode and EMG. And then we're going to open the NeuroNode Control Bionics icon. And we're going to open the NeuroNode controller application on the left. When it comes up, it's ready to now connect to the NeuroNode. You'll see on the graph, blue is the user's movement, yellow is rest, and then green will be the threshold in which you would activate the switch. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using a finger flexion. You'll see that movement is here in this area. You want to line up The two dimples here on top of the NeuroNode indicate the active electrodes. Those will be what you want to line up on the muscle group that you're targeting. I'm going to snap this into our bezel. I'm going to make sure that our active electrodes are lined up on that muscle. Have the auditory signal turned on so that the user knows that you are indeed activating the switch. Gonna let our graph come back down. I'm gonna make my movement and activate the switch. Now you're connected to the NeuroNode controller app with your NeuroNode. Now I'd like to
The EMG target muscle is chosen during the assessment, but can be changed at any point. Only one effective target muscle is needed to use the NeuroNode. This muscle is chosen based on two criteria. It should respond, at least minimally, to the command to contract it and should return to a resting state. The muscle does not have to be functional necessarily, but it just needs to be able to respond reliably and accurately to the minimal signals at the target muscle site. Frequent placement includes the wrist, the forearm, the face, thigh, and calf. Interface options include the non-adhesive neuro band, singles, triples, and Neotech leads. Singles are typically chosen for use with large muscle groups for users with no adverse effects to adhesive. They are lower in cost. The triples are also used for large muscle groups. They're easy to set up with low cost, and they offer the best EMG signal fidelity. Neotech leads are for small muscle groups, particularly facial placements, are best for sensitive skin, but are the highest cost.
Now I'd like to show you a little bit more detail about how to connect in the spatial settings. We'll go to our menu, go to Advanced, Spatial Control. I'm going to turn on Spatial Setting. It's important to note that for the Spatial Control, you do not have to have the paper wafer with the electrodes on the back of the NeuroNode. The NeuroNode has a built-in accelerometer, so it's taking movement from the planes of X, Y, and Z. What we're going to do is then, with our movement, determine is it an X, Y, or Z movement in terms of the direction of the movement into the NeuroNode, to determine and set up our switch for our user. So the spatial sample rate should be at 200 Hertz. The spatial sensitivity should be at 2G. You want to make sure that you've selected the X, Y, and Z coordinate to begin. So we're going to go now back to our graph. Done. Back to our graph. So for this demonstration, I'm going just to do a wrist turn. what's happening is you'll hear the two signals, and I'm getting actually the forward and backward movement. So I'm going to try and do just one. Let's see. There we go. And you'll see that the orange or amber graph line seems to be the plane that's activating the most when I'm making my movement. So we're going to go back into our settings, spatial control settings. We're going to get rid of the X and the Z, just leave our Y, because that's our movement that is going to actually be activating the switch. Then we're going to go back to our graph. Now your user is activating the switch in spatial settings.
How do you determine when to use spatial settings versus EMG? In the spatial mode, the NeuroNode is placed on a part of the body that is registering voluntary movement. Ideally, is the point of maximum deflection for the particular movement. With the NeuroNode in spatial settings, it can be placed over clothing, so you do not have to have the skin-to-skin contact that is required with EMG. You can filter out tremors or fasciculations. Muscle tone does not matter. The placement does not have to be as specific as EMG either. When would you select EMG? If the client presents with minimal movement, fatigues easily, maybe only has facial movement still, but has a consistent activation of the single muscle, then you would choose EMG. Let's say a client has variable EMG signals, tactile defensiveness, fasciculations and tremors, but good head control. You might choose spatial mode settings with a placement with a band on the head. EMG placement ideas include finger flexion or extension, placement on the bicep or tricep, on the calf, or on the shoulder for shoulder elevation. Spatial placement ideas include the foot or toe. We've even had clients who have placed the NeuroNode on top of a shoe and were able to wiggle their toes underneath the shoe and be able to use the spatial access with the NeuroNode. The knee, the ankle or arm, fingers, and the head with headband. NeuroNode 3D Spatial Control. The NeuroNode is placed on a part of the body that registers a voluntary movement at the point of maximal deflection. The movement is captured instantaneously by sensors and processed to create the graph activity. The graph is presented in the same format as the EMG. However, the units change from microvolts to Gs. In spatial control, 3 axes define the movement, X, Y, and Z. The spatial settings allow each axis to be magnified or diminished. The creation of the switch is nearly identical to the EMG graph. You're simply adjusting the signal on and the signal off. You want to find the movement that requires the minimum amount of effort while filtering out activity that is not intentional for a switch. The NeuroNode Trilogy offers 3 access methods built into one device, enabling flexibility. The Trilogy has traditional eye control with dwell or blink, scanning, and the Trilogy combination, which combines the eye control and the NeuroNode.
Grid 3 enables you to have a voice, control your environment, and live more independently. It is designed for anyone with complex communication or access needs and includes a wide range of AAC resources that you can control with touch, switch, eye gaze, or pointing devices. You will find content for all ages and powerful tools for talking with text and symbols. Text communication is made easy with smart features to get your message across. Use symbols to build phrases and say exactly what you want.
Can I play with my train?
Learn through animated activities and develop your access skills in fun and exciting ways. Get online with accessible apps where you can browse the web, use social media, drop a friend an email, and enjoy your favorite content. Grid 3 allows you to take control of the world around you, accessing many devices in your home, like your TV and media center. You can even take control of other applications on your computer. With Grid 3, you can do so much more. Grid
3 communication software is included with the NeuroNode Trilogy. Within Grid 3, you have interactive learning with cause and effect, choices and challenges, symbol-based communication through a variety of grid sets, including word power, supercore, symbol talker, pod, beeline, and vocabulary for life. Text-based communication is offered in multiple languages through Fasttalker and AlphaCore. Independence is encouraged with computer control, environmental controls, texting with Android and iOS. Grid 3 software also offers online grid sets with YouTube, Spotify, Netflix.
Now I'm going to give you a quick overview of Grid 3. So when you open the Control Bionics NeuroNode icon over on your left, you'll have the NeuroNode controller app here on the left, and then the Grid 3 on your right. We'll open up Grid 3. You'll see there are 3 users: Eye Control, NeuroNode 3.0, and Trilogy. Eye Control is standard eye gaze with the Trilogy. The NeuroNode 3.0 is switch scanning access, and the Trilogy will be the combination of eye gaze and the NeuroNode for selection. We'll start with the NeuroNode switch scanning user. So you're going to click on that and open. You're going to make your movement to start the scan.
New SMS.
It will scan by row and then by icon once the row is selected. Again, your movement to start the scan.
I.
You can change all of these settings, the speed in which it scans, the number of times that it goes through a scan before you have to activate it again.
Want. Help. I want help.
Okay, now we'll go back out. You're going to go to this menu button here, back to Grid Explorer. And we'll go to another grid set where a lot of adults are using. You'll see in this particular grid set, you have chat, pre-stored messages, you can access your phone, answer it, do text messages, emails, social media. So we'll go into chat first. So here you have pre-stored phrases. Personal care.
Can you help me, please?
Again, you're still just using that movement with the EMG through the Neuro Node then to select your phrase. Now we're going to go into the eye control user. So select and open. I'm going to go into our menu here and go to settings. To access eye gaze, and we're going to set up our calibration here. You can go into the settings and select the number of targets for your calibration, up to 16 targets. We'll do 9, and you can select your target style as well, your speed, and your size, the background. You'll see that you have the happy white face when your position is good for the calibration and eye gaze. That's the positioning guide. You can look here for video. It's showing both of my eyes are being picked up. And we will calibrate. Okay. So now we'll be using eye gaze, and I'm sorry, we'll go back into the settings and look at eye gaze. And for activation, I have it set for blink to click. You can do dwell to click. You can select your highlighting, whether you want highlighting or not, the minimum blink time, maximum blink time, repeat activations. Those are all of your settings then to activate, and I'm going to click OK. I've selected SuperCore 30.
I want more.
You'll see it highlights when my eye gaze gets there, and then I'm blinking to activate.
Cookie. I want more cookie.
Now I'll take you back into Grid Explorer, show you briefly Fasttalker. So this is where we were before when we were using the Neuro Node.
How's it going?
How's it going? Go back home. In chat, you have the keyboard. You can select the type of keyboard that you would like with predictive text.
Hello.
Again, you have access to your phone, texting and email, social media. There's also an alarm here in this one. Where you can set it up to do an alarm sound or send a text with a message. Again, all of that is with eye gaze alone. Now we can go back into our Grid Explorer and then into our users. And we'll try out the Trilogy user. Again, Trilogy is the combination of the eye gaze and the Neuro Node. So I am using my eyes to select, and then the Neuro Node as my click. Wanted to make sure my Neuro Node was still turned on.
I won't stop.
Okay. So again, your eyes are your mouse, your Neuro Node is your click. I'm gonna go back into Grid Explorer and I'll show you Fasttalker again with the Trilogy. Down to speak.
I'm ready for a snack.
So that is a demonstration of the eye gaze and the Trilogy user.
Here's how to customize grid sets in Grid 3.
I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to edit in Grid 3. Imagine we're in school, the lesson is about to begin. We've been asked to add the word cool to this description page and to make the background pink. This grid makes use of a word list, so we just need to click Menu and Word List and Add. Type our word. If one of the first suggested pictures isn't suitable, click Find Picture. Select an alternative and click OK. And that's it. That word has been added to the page. Now to change the background colour, I would click on Menu and Edit. Click on the Grid tab, Background, choose Pink, finish editing and save changes. And that's those changes made now in under a minute, so that's how quick and easy it is to edit in Grid 3.
Medicare funding is available in all 50 states, and our funding team is working diligently to get Medicaid coverage for each state. Private insurance is funded based on individual cases. And to ease the process of acquiring an AAC device with Control Bionics, we do have a one-time funding application. Thank you for your time today. My name is Lane Rials. My contact information is here, my email and my cell phone number. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, thanks for your time today.